Hello and welcome to my channel. Happy New Year to you. My name is Ladia. You're watching Mimi Made It by Ladia. The holidays are over, and what I want to do with this video is show you 3 different ways that you can style your mantle. I've already cleaned everything up. It's all ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the first one. I'm going to weave this garland starting from the middle, and then I'm going to work my way out. And I'm just taking my bristles and just adding that, wrapping it around there real quick on each side. And you kind of see as I put it in there a little bit more, it starts to change the color and add more texture to this garland. This is on sale, so I have plenty of it to work with. I got a full basket down here on the floor that I can just keep adding this garland to. Kind of hide that little piece, wrap that up in there, and then I'm just going to come on around and just kind of let it swing a little bit around there. And I'm just kind of altering from side to side. Again, just want to give it a look where it's more natural as it's weaving through this garland. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side of the mantle, and then I'm going to come back and add the next item of greenery to the garland. Now that I've got the garland weaved in with the other garland, I want to come in and set my centerpiece for this mantle, and I'm going to use this pick right here. I'm not going to cut anything off. It's just one whole piece. I'm going to keep everything together there. And you see it has some frosting in there, and it has some frosted pine cones too. I'm just going to take a couple of the bristles that are in here and just wrap it around there nice and tight so it'll stay. And that sets my centerpiece there. And this next thing I want to start adding is going to be some greenery on each end of the mantle. This is another stem that I had. I broke it in half so that I could put one side. It does have some white berries in there. It has some frosted on there. So that's going to still keep that winter feel in there without making it look like the holiday. I'm going to add this greenery to this side of the mantle right there in the corner. Again, I'm going to attach it with one of the bristles. Now I'm going to add some frosted pine cones to this. I think I have about 5 of them, so I'll just spread them out a little bit here and there. And since I've already got pine cones right up here in my centerpiece part, I can just kind of come out a little bit more and disperse these. And I'm just wrapping a little bit of the wire that I have attached around a bristle and bending that back so it'll stay in place. I'm going to come in with some more white berry picks that I pulled apart from a larger piece. And for these pieces, I'm just going to add mostly on the side of the garland and just kind of tuck it in here and there. Now I'm going to go over to the other side again and do the same thing. My last greenery that I'm going to add to this garland is going to be these flocked pieces of pine. Got these off of Amazon. I have quite a few of them, so I'll be able to put these here and there and disperse them real well across this mantle. But you see how it's starting to come together with that wintry feel to it. No ornaments, no glitter. The greenery over here just kind of has like a little dew to it. Then we have the flocking up here on the centerpiece that helps to bring back in that winter feel from the outside into your home. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with these, and I'll be right back. And as I add these in, I kind of zigzag up and down, almost kind of following the way that I put the first batch of greenery in. These picks are just really easy to just stick right in. It catches pretty good with the garland. So I'm okay with just sticking those in there without actually having to tie it in to any of the garland. They stay in there pretty well once you stick them in there. So there you have it. This is the updated garland that went from a holiday garland into a winter garland by adding different picks Again, I'm using some of the flocking there, some of the snow capped on the pine cones to kind of give it that wintry feeling, to bring that in. I live in the Midwest, and so we had our first snow of the year 2024 just a few days ago. It was beautiful, and it's nice to be able to just sit in your house and just enjoy it from the inside. And it's also nice to be able to bring some of that in by adding it to your mantle. I'm going to add a few more elements to the mantle and dress it up, clean it up down here. I've got flocking everywhere. And then I'm going to come back and do a reveal and show you how everything came together. I'm adding these lanterns, one on each side of the mantle. I've had these in my home for a while. Make sure you shop your home. It's well worth it. And this is what it looks like once everything is done. I've got the black lanterns, one on each side of the mirror. And then as I take you in a little bit closer, you can see where I have changed over from the holiday to a more wintry mix by adding this nice flocked bush right in the middle for a centerpiece. And then taking you over to the other side, I also added another garland in there and just wove that in there. And it just kind of gives a little bit more texture, a little bit more color definition to this already beautiful pre-lit garland. I also added some of the frosted tipped pine cones to it, and then coming over on the end, I added another piece of greenery on there so that I could give it, again, more definition and a little bit more interest to it. This one does have a little bit of shimmer over it. To me, it kind of gives it that nice dewy look that you get in the morning. And so now I'm going to take you all the way down, showing you some more of how I intertwined that garland into the existing garland. I also added some flocked pine picks right in there. Just stuck those in. Those will stay pretty well. And then down at the bottom on the hearth, I also added a basket, and in that basket I have a nice warm throw and some socks, perfect for your family or when your friends come over so they can cuddle up real quick on the couch. Got those in a black and white basket, and I also have that same basket on the other side, and it is also filled with some nice warm throw blankets. So just kind of give you an idea of what you can do as you're changing over from the holidays with all of the different decorations, but you still want to have some greenery in your house, and you still want to have a nice, fresh, wintry touch to it. There's a basket right down there on the other side. And all of this to me kind of adds to the symmetry for this fireplace, more traditional look to it. I've got both sides pretty much looking the same. And then I also have the lanterns both on each side. That gives it more of a traditional look with the symmetry that I'm using to design this one. And then the garland itself is just coming all the way down on both sides. Again, to me, giving it more of a traditional look for this mantle refresh for the winter. So I'm going to go ahead, sadly, and take everything down so I can start on the next one that I want to show you. But I'm going to close real quick with just some more video and a few more pictures, and then I'll be back to show you the next design. Welcome back to my second installation for changing your Christmas mantle over to a wintry mantle. This design right here, I did a little bit more of a whimsical look to it. I started over here with the original garland and then just kind of brought it down and swooped it just a little bit over to give it that little bit of a loop. And right up in here, I started to add the second garland just to make this area in here a lot fuller, and then I just attached it, put some of the bristles together, attached everything together, and then just brought it all the way down to the bottom of the floor on this side. So I'm going to decorate this and show you how I put it together, of course, and then I'll come back and show you the reveal. I'm going to add some of these pine sprays, and I'm going to start right here because I want some of it to kind of come out just a little bit over the end of the garland, and I'm just going to twist it, bend it just a little bit so it'll fit in there real well, and then just take some pieces of the garland and wrap around it and secure it. I secured the garland to my fireplace itself by adding some nails and wrapping that around there. I did that a couple times as I went along just to make sure that everything will stay up there. I usually say that construction is key when you're doing an installation, any installation, but specifically and very importantly when you're putting things up, you want to make sure that they don't fall down. I'm going to follow this loop down and add another spray to it. See how big and beautiful that is? It's nice. It has some pine cones on it, and I'm just going to add that right in here, right down in there, and again twist some of the bristles of the garland to secure it. I like the way this is put together in here. It really looks natural and goes really well and blends in with the rest of the garland. So this piece right here, I'm going to start kind of building a very dramatic look over here. Just really excited to show this one to you. So I'm going to add this spray, and I'm going to come right up in this corner because I want it to fit right in here. And these bend very well too, which is a good plus as you're attaching things to the garland. It blends in so well within the rest of the garland. Now the next thing that I want to bring out is to add to a very dramatic look for this garland. I have some huge sugar pine cones. I'm going to come up a little bit closer. This one I think is a little over 12 inches long. They can grow to be at least 24 inches long and weigh up to 10 pounds. So these are normally found within around the Pacific Northwest. I got these again from my wholesaler. That's usually my first go-to. I've seen them on Etsy. I think I've seen them on Amazon. So if this is something that you like, there's a couple places that you can look for them. I am going to add this first one. I think I'm going to add this one right up in here. I've got it wired, so all I have to do is just put that in there, twist the wire around it, and just have it just hang right in there. This one I put wire on both sides because of the way I'm going to angle it into the garland, and I want it to stay. So I'm just going to wrap again, piece of wire right up in here to secure it right up there, and then I want this piece to just really kind of lay right down in here and not hang down so far. So for that, I've got that other piece of wire that I've attached, and just going to wrap that around a couple times and secure it. And then I'm just going to make sure that everything is secure up in here and that it'll lay the way that I want it to. And give it just a really natural look to this garland. Now I've got one more piece that I want to add. That piece I am going to add a little bit more over to this side, and I'll bring the camera around when I'm done so that you can see exactly how I have everything positioned. I wired this piece too, and I'm just going to attach it right over in this area again, just to really give this a nice natural look for this garland and these huge dramatic pieces of the sugar pine cone. And now I'm going to attach just a couple of pine cones, smaller pine cones in here. And really all I need to do is just nestle them down in the garland and they'll just stay. And one thing you may have noticed is that I had to do a wardrobe change from working with the flocked garland from the first video that I did to show you the transformation. Working with the flocked garland can tend to be a little bit messy, so I had to do a little cleanup and make a change. Clean up everything. I had to re-clean the mirror because the particles got there. So while the flocking is absolutely gorgeous, I love it. I think it gives a different look. It can be a little bit labor intensive, so if that's something that you're looking at doing, just make sure that you consider that when you buy that type of tree or type of garland to add to your decorations. I also used a mask because some of the particles would get into my nose and make me sneeze or kind of irritated me. So, you know, just some tips to look out for when you are working with the flocked garland or the flocked trees, just so that you can keep yourself protected. So I've got everything in here the way that I want it. I've got it swooping, nice and dramatic look. The build up over here with the sugar pine cones, and then just coming down. Didn't add any more down at the bottom. Just trying to keep this just as natural as possible. And I think I accomplished that, but of course I'm gonna let you be the judge of that. So I'm gonna go ahead, go off camera, add a couple more pieces to this, and then I'm gonna come back and show you the reveal. So I added some large candlesticks. I used these candlesticks during my holiday decorations and had them sitting on the hearth in front of the fireplace. This time I put them on top of the mantle to really give it a very dramatic look, nice and tall. Don't be afraid to use your large statement pieces. I think this makes a great impact with the mantle styling along with the garland. I added a ring of greenery on each one, and then I also added some battery operated candles, and I just think that that just makes it, I don't know, it just takes it to a different level for me. And if you like the dramatic look in your design, I hope that you will like this. Now I want to bring you in a little bit closer and just give you another look at how everything came together on this garland. Added this nice spray with some pine cones on that, and then again I added some branches, some dark branches. I put in a few pine cones there, and then I just kind of followed that design down into the loop and did pretty much the same thing. Added a pine cone there. The sprays already had a nice couple pine cones on there that move real good within the spray. And then coming up, you'll see where I added those huge sugar pine cones. Aren't those just gorgeous? Look at those. And so this brings it up to the corner where I doubled layered the garland over the top to give it more a fuller look up here. I added another spray with the pine cones, another little branch, and then down in here I added more sugar pine cones. I really like this design. It just has a very nice organic feel to it. It reminds me of walking through the forest and all of the greenery, and it still has that pine in there. So to me, it's still giving me holiday vibe there. Stay tuned. I have one more that I want to show you to give you more options on how you can go from the holiday decorating on your mantle to a wintry decoration on your mantle. Well, thanks for hanging in there with me. I'm going to jump right in and get started with decorating the third one for this mantle makeover. I've already reconfigured the garland from the previous one, and what I did with this is kind of put it right in the middle, a couple ends on each side. I had to fold it over, which is fine because I want to have some nice thickness up there. And I did the same thing over here. I'm going to do the same thing. What I do on one side, I'm going to do on the other side, so I can just kind of keep everything moving. With this mantle makeover, I am going to add some magnolia leaves. I'm not going to add any of the florals to it. I'm just going to use the leaves of the magnolia to just weave in and out of the garland. Starting from the middle, I'm going to just attach a piece here and weave it in just like I did the other garland. Now that I have the magnolia leaves in there, I'm going to come in with the rest of the greenery. And it is going to be the same greenery that I used on the previous mantle makeover, and that is with these pine sprays. And I'm going to start at the corner and add one in the corner and attach it. And attach one in the middle, right in here. And just attach that real quick, right on this corner. Now I'm going to add the sugar pine cones to this garland, and I'm going to attach them right in here, right on one corner, and tie that around. There we go. I'm going to use this one that has the wires attached on both ends. So again, I could go ahead and have it sit right up in there the way that I want it to without falling over. So I'm going to wrap that piece around. For the last one, can you guess where that one's going to go? Sure you can. The last one is going to go right up in this corner. So I've got all three of them in there. Now I'm just going to come in with the branches that I used on the other mantle makeover. I have three of them, so again I'm just going to add one right in here. There we go. And that extends that design out a little bit more beyond the edge of the mantle. I did this a little bit differently. I didn't want anything to drape down over it. I wanted everything to just pretty much stay right up on top. And let's see, I'm gonna add this one right in here. And the third one right up in here. And I am going to add a few more of the magnolia leaves on each side, and then I am going to come back with some other items that I'm adding, and this one is going to be done. This one was very quick. I won't say easy, because it does take the time to get everything assembled, the greenery, the garland reassembled up there and attached. But once you get that done, as you can see, everything else goes pretty quickly. Welcome back to the reveal for the third mantle makeover for winter. And this just turned out exactly the way that I envisioned it. Alongside of the mantle, I added a couple of vessels that would hold some brown branches. Two of them right there, nice brown color. To the top, I added a couple of candle holders, the kind of a brassy color look to them, not real bright and shiny. And this just gives you a full view of how everything looks. I am just really pleased with the way this one turned out, actually with all of them. And then there is the beautiful large sugar pine cones added to the garland, along with the magnolia leaves that I incorporated in those as well. Really just to give a different look to the mantle for the winter season, when you want to continue to carry on a nice greenery look to your mantle and the rest of the decorating throughout your home. Those green candles, I got those from my local grocery store. They were marked down so much that they had to come home with me. I knew that at some point I would get to use those. A basket on the floor, again, added some nice warm comfy blankies to wrap up in by the fireplace. So let me know what you think. Leave me a comment and let me know which one you like, whether it's the first one, the second one, or this one right here. Let me know if you tried any of these in your home, any type of combination. You can certainly kind of mix and match depending upon what your decor is and what you actually have on hand. Remember to shop your home. You'll always save more when you do that. And you just really find that you have some nice things that you may have set aside and stored away and maybe just kind of forgot about, like I did with those two items right there. So there's a good view of it from the front. I just really like this one. I'll be back with another video and I'll show you which one I actually decide to use for my own home decorating for the winter. And there's the first one. A nice frosty wintry look to it. And then that's going to be followed by the second one that I did, that nice dramatic. If I used the word dramatic once to describe this one, I used it several times. But this is a very nice dramatic look. I'm going to use it again with this type of design on the fireplace, draping it over and just giving it a totally different look. And then here is the last one. So I hope you like my content. Certainly go ahead and hit that like button for me. Thank you for watching, and whatever you do and wherever you go, be blessed.